Steel built the modern world.
It holds up the bridges above your roads, the towers in your cities, the ships crossing your oceans, and even parts of the phone in your hand. For more than a century, the nations that controlled steel controlled industry. But now, something has changed. In 2025, China produced 960.8 million metric tons of steel. That is more than half of all the steel made on Earth. More than 12 times the output of the United States in the same year. One Chinese company, China Baowu, makes more steel than every American mill combined. Now that sounds like a scale story.
But this is not just about making more steel. China is making a new kind of steel. A kind that is stronger, lighter, and far more useful for the next generation of industry.
And much of the West still cannot make it at scale. This is not just a material story. It is a story about who gets to build the future.
Most people think steel is just steel. But steel is not one thing. It is a whole family of materials. Think of it like bread. Cheap sandwich bread and carefully made sourdough are both bread, but they are built very differently. That is exactly what is happening in steel right now.
What China has been scaling up is third-generation, advanced, high-strength steel. For decades, manufacturers faced a painful trade-off between strength and formability. If steel was very strong, it often became difficult to bend and shape. If it was easier to shape, it usually gave up strength. Third-generation advanced high-strength steel changes that equation at the microscopic level.
It can be extremely strong and still form complex shapes without cracking. And that matters because manufacturers do not always need an entirely new car factory to use it.
They need storage. They need access to the material. And right now, China has that material in abundance.
Now let's make this real.
Volkswagen used this class of steel and reduced body weight by 27%. Not the whole car, just the structural skeleton. Hyundai and Kia cut weight by 30% in floor panels using similar advanced grades. Every kilogram saved can mean more range for electric vehicles. For fuel cars, it can mean lower fuel use. And because the steel is stronger, it can improve crash protection too.
That is why automakers care so much.
Advanced high-strength steel is one of the most cost-effective ways to make vehicles lighter and stronger. It is cheaper than carbon fiber and more practical than many exotic alternatives.
And it works with existing industrial systems far more easily than many people realize.
In 2025, Chinese advanced steel was leaving ports at prices roughly 15 to 20% below Western equivalents. That is not a small difference. That is the kind of gap that changes decisions. And increasingly, the math points to China.
Did take prox von terms.
This is not just about cars.
Energy systems need it too.
And wherever strength and weight are in tension, this new class of steel starts to win.
So why can't Western producers just catch up?
Because most major Western mills were built for an earlier industrial era.
These plants were not designed for the precise processing newer steel grades require.
Retrofitting them is not like updating software. It is like turning a freight train into a Formula One car while it is still moving.
The minimum cost of a single new advanced high-strength steel production line can be around $300 million.
And that is not even a full mill. That is one line.
To fully modernize older capacity can cost hundreds of millions, sometimes billions.
And those upgrades can bring painful disruptions that last for years.
Even after all that spending, Western producers can still face a 35 to 45% cost disadvantage per ton.
That is why private investors hesitate.
No one wants to build capacity that may be undercut before it even opens.
And that is where China's strategy becomes impossible to ignore.
China laid out a multi-year plan not just to make more steel, but to make better, cleaner, and more strategically dominant steel. The estimated funding behind that broader effort runs to around $18 billion through 2030. That is not hesitation. That is industrial intent.
A major part of that effort is going into hydrogen-based steel making.
Traditional steel burns coal. Hydrogen opens a cleaner path.
It also creates forms of iron that work especially well with modern specialty steel systems.
Another major share of Chinese investment is going into electric arc furnace expansion.
These furnaces are better suited to producing modern specialty steels and adapting between grades quickly.
So China is not only leading on cost and scale, it is preparing for the cleaner steel era too. But there is a deeper layer most people never hear about. High-performance steel depends on precise alloying elements like vanadium, manganese, and niobium. And China controls a dominant share of the global processing capacity for all three. That means even a brand new Western plant could still depend on Chinese refined inputs. This is no longer just a factory story. It is a supply chain story. There is the match price. Then there is the knowledge problem.
Over the past decade, China has expanded its share of patents in advanced steel chemistry and hydrogen-based metallurgy.
And patents matter because they reveal where industrial know-how lives. When one country holds more of the process knowledge, competitors do not just face a money gap. They face a learning gap.
And China is not standing still. It is spreading production through third-country manufacturing hubs closer to global markets. So even when the steel does not ship directly from China, the technology behind it still can.
And the market for advanced high-strength steel is only getting bigger. If current trends continue, much of that growth will run through Chinese-controlled technology, materials, and facilities.
By 2030, if nothing changes, major industries could depend on supply chains increasingly outside Western control.
That affects car prices, manufacturing competitiveness, and profit margins before a single bolt is tightened.
Because when a critical material becomes concentrated in one part of the world,
the issue is no longer just profit. It becomes leverage. Leverage. Western governments are beginning to respond, but time matters. Every year without serious investment is another year of China extending its lead.
The rules of global manufacturing are not written in stone.
They are written in capital, research, and decisions made today about what the world will need tomorrow. And right now, one country is writing those rules faster than anyone else.
China did not stumble into this position.
It chose this path, invested in it, and kept building while others moved more slowly.
And these scatters. So now the question is not whether advanced steel matters.
The real question is whether the West can still close the gap.
Or whether the rules of global manufacturing are already being rewritten. Because the next century of building may be shaped by whoever controls the best version of steel. This is not the steel your grandfather knew.
It is something engineered at scales we can barely see, but powerful enough to shape the next 100 years.
So what do you think? Can the West still catch up? Or is China already too far ahead?
If you want more deep dive documentaries on the technologies reshaping the world, subscribe now.